Proper remarketing structure in Meta is one of the best things you can do for your apparel brand, and if you're not doing this, then you're leaving money on the table. At Fiber Tribe, we work with a ton of different apparel brands, and one of the things that we do is we install this same remarketing structure into all of the ad accounts we work on. I'm going to show you exactly the remarketing structure that we use, and if you implement this for your apparel brand, it's going to be a game changer for your results. Remarketing structure is critical for apparel brands, and here are some of the basic reasons why that is. Educating the customer is super important for apparel brands, and this is one of the things that makes the remarketing structure really impactful is the ability to educate your customer on what makes you unique. Also, giving them different reasons to buy. So, not everybody buys for the same reasons, right? So, we all have different reasons, whether it's color, style, price, quality. There's so many different reasons why people buy. And it's important that we're giving them all of those different opportunities to make a purchase. The thing, and perhaps the most important point, is the controlled repeat brand impressions. So, most of the campaigns that you're running, they likely have a frequency of maybe 1 to 2 or maybe 3x maximum. And so we're not really getting a lot of repeat brand impressions, especially over, say, a 30-day period. And so we want to make sure that we use a controlled remarketing structure like this to get those brand impressions up so that people really remember us and that we stand out as a brand. Now, also using the remarketing structure to create urgency is critical with multiple offers and even based on the age of the prospect. So when they're new into the funnel, we're going to show them different content. We're going to show them different offers than if they're a little bit older in the funnel. And the idea behind this structure is that we're mirroring an in-store shopping experience. So with apparel brands, it's such a great experience to go into the store to be able to see all the different inventory, to see all the different styles, all the different colors. And we want to make sure that we're mirroring that as much as we can within our ad account because that's just going to create a better user experience. And if we're only showing them, say, our, two top selling products, that's not giving them that experience we're looking for. So this kind of a remarketing structure really allows you to expand on that shopping experience. Okay, so let's talk about why your current meta ad structure may not support brand building. Meta has evolved so that with Advantage Plus scaling campaigns, you're basically getting a low frequency and they're trying to find the ideal person so that you can get the highest conversion rate. And so you're going to get very low frequency, and that's okay because we want to get those low frequencies at the top of the funnel. But once we get somebody into the funnel, we want to make sure that we're getting that high frequency to send them all the right messages. Now, Advantage Plus scaling has been tuned for low frequency. So this means that if your ads are working really well, like let's say they're high converting and at the top of the funnel, you're immediately getting people in for a purchase, what's happening is that you're then going to exclude them later on, and you're not going to see that person again in your funnel, right? Because now you've excluded them as a purchaser. So you're not really going to be doing any brand building through your ads. And this is why remarketing becomes so important because we want to make sure that for that person who's purchased before, we want to give them other offers so they can come back and make a second purchase as well. With the current Pixel, what happens is that after 7 days, your iPhone users, they're not going to see your ads anymore, right? Because their Pixel is gone after the 7 days. Having an extended life on your first party cookie really helps with building a strong remarketing structure. All right, now let's get into the core of what makes this structure work. So we've got 4 different ad sets here. We've got our core UVP, we've got our storytelling, we have product catalog, and then we have promotions. Okay, now it's possible that you might be running promotions at the top of the funnel. You might be doing some storytelling at the top of the funnel, and you might even be using your dynamic product ads at the top of the funnel, and that's okay. But this is all about having a really solid structure where we can get repeat impressions on these items. Okay, so the reason you want to separate out these into different ad sets is so that you can control the budget on each one. So you're going to want to use the ad set budgeting control. And that way we can tune these to our budget because you really shouldn't be spending more than about 10% on your remarketing. Now, let's get into what the core UVP is about. So, a UVP is your unique value proposition. So, in this case, we're talking about things like features and benefits, right? So, what actually makes your product unique from the competitors? You may also want to try something like an us versus them ad concept. So, us versus them is essentially saying, this is how we are different from the competition. And then you might also want to use some featured reviews and testimonials. So these are all different ad concepts, and having all of these within your ad set for the core UVP is going to give you the best opportunity to educate your customer and also showing them why you're different and how much your customers love the product. Now, moving on to the storytelling framework. So it's really important that we're telling our brand story, and also, we may have some behind the scenes footage. So this tends to be either really authentic pieces of content where you could take a social post, for example, that the brand has posted, and you could use that where they're telling their story. And you could also use some behind the scenes, maybe warehouse footage. It could be manufacturing footage, something that makes the brand more authentic, and so people can see the quality of the product as well. Now, the product catalog is really important. Okay. So, dynamic product ads are generally the highest performing, highest ROAS ads that you're going to have in your account. And there's a reason for that. The dynamic product ads, they give a shopping experience, right? Because you have got the carousel where you can scroll through the different products. And that shopping experience makes for a much higher converting ad because people can choose based on the product type and select style or color that they're looking for. And so the way you want to structure this is we want to be looking at new arrivals. So new arrivals are for anything that's new to the store. The whole point of the new arrivals is that somebody might have already purchased the best sellers, but maybe they didn't. They don't know that you have new products, and these new arrivals introduces them to that new product collection. You're going to have best sellers. So these are typically, your top 10 best selling items. It depends how big your product catalog is, but you want to make sure there's enough for the customer to select from here and that we're using the most profitable, highest performing. These are often in your Shopify store. These are the A grade products that you want to use. And then we have seasonal collections. So, for your apparel brand, you're going to have, winter collections, summer collection, spring collection. And as we're going through the different seasons, you're going to want to have those product collections in this ad serving as a dynamic product ad. And if you're not familiar, I would look up how to set up product sets and product collections within the Commerce Manager in Meta. This is going to be a game changer for you if you're not using dynamic product ads already. Finally, we want to talk about promotions. So promotions are very straightforward. These are introductory offers to get people over the fence. Maybe they've been watching your brand for a while and they're just looking for a reason to purchase. This is also a really good place to use to do what we call last chance. So these are products that are maybe not being they're not being restocked. These are products that are perhaps in the C grade of the products in Shopify. So these are lower performing products, but we can discount these ones to move them out. It could be also an end of season run as well. So we see a lot of brands doing like an end of season collection, and you want to move these products out. And this is a great place to do it with your existing remarketing list, right? So these are your last chance or C grade products. Okay, now to tie this all together, we have our audiences for these ad sets. So these audiences are built in a special way so that we're basically addressing the life cycle of the prospect. In some cases, if they're like brand new to the funnel, we want to make sure we're showing them our UVP. We want to make sure that we're educating them on the brand. And then if they're further along, let's say they're in like 30 to 60-day range, we're going to show them different offers that they wouldn't be seeing otherwise. So let's dive into the specifics of it here. So starting with the core UVP ad set. So we want to advertise this to website and social engagement for the last 30 days. So website users for obvious reasons, and then engagement, because if they're coming from the social channels, we want to make sure that we're introducing them to like the features and benefits, all the aspects of the product that we talked about. But we want to make sure that we're excluding recent purchasers. Oops. We want to make sure that we're excluding recent purchasers. So really important, because we don't want to be spamming people who have recently purchased. Last 30 days is good. And then we also don't want to exclude them for too long, because we want to make sure we reintroduce them to the funnel for new purchases down the road. So for storytelling, we want to focus on website visitors. 14 days is good, because then we're using that, the first 2 weeks of when they're in the funnel to really educate them on the brand story. In the case of the product catalog, we want to have a 90-day window. So this is just going to allow us to be able to show our seasonal collections, our best sellers, as well as our new arrivals over a longer time frame. And again, with the excluded purchasers. And then for promotions, so here it's a little bit different. We're going to exclude our 30-day website visitor audience, because we don't want to be showing these promotions to people that are just recently on the website. I mean, this is a personal decision. You might decide that that's what you want to do, but a lot of the brands we work with, they care about being perceived as a luxury brand. So they don't want to immediately throw a promotion and discount in front of a remarketing user. So we're going to give them 30 days in that funnel, and then we're going to start showing them some of these like C grade products with promotional offers, things to get them over the fence, because they've clearly been interested, but they didn't quite make it far enough to make a purchase. And just as a reminder, the remarketing budget should only be about 10% of the total budget, with the rest of it going to top of funnel. So you're going to need to split that budget across these different ad sets. And still, we should mostly be focused on top of funnel. If you nail this and you're having trouble with your conversion rates, this might be the thing that takes you to that conversion rate that you're looking for. This is really just about making sure that we're doing really solid branding. We're informing the prospects of all the different features and benefits, our story, our different offers and new arrivals and things like that. So we're making sure that they're seeing all of the content that they should be. And this is the structure that allows you to do that perfectly every single time. I hope you found this helpful. I'm going to be doing educational videos like this once a week. And so if you found this helpful, please like and subscribe. I own an apparel agency that helps apparel and footwear brands get to the next level. If you found this helpful and you want to book a call with me, check out the link in the description below. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.